What's up, everybody? Thralls Metal here once again. I'm Necrotic.
I'm Jammin, John.
And we have yet another album review. And since we've kind of covered some more popular ones, we decided to go diving into the underground and find something new and fucking brutal for everyone. So we're going to go over the debut album from Olkoth, At the Eye of Chaos. This also comes out on the 26th of May on Everlasting Spew Records. It's been formed in 2017 in Columbia, South Carolina. This is their debut full-length. I believe they only have one other demo. Now, I actually looked up the name because I was like, wow, that's just kind of an interesting name for a band. And it turns out it is a Lovecraftian god, the god of celestial arcs. Don't really know what the responsibilities are, but apparently it's kind of big on resurrecting the dead during special ceremonies or circumstances or whatever. Sounds infinitely cooler than the bullshit God Sleep Token worships. I know that much. I know this band features members of Enthean, Lecherous Nocturne, and Imperium, and they're described as blackened death metal. Honestly, I hear a bit more death metal than black metal in terms of the mix. Like, it favors death metal for the most part, and I think it favors one South Carolina band in particular. There's a lot of NILE on here.
I'd state that to be the truth.
I have never had a problem with that.
Yeah, especially in the song Lords of the Kali Yuga. That is 1000% NILE. Mostly that album, too.
Oh, such a fucking good album. But this album, the one we're reviewing, kind of sticks to NILE's formula of being outright brutal, riffy, fast, aggressive, and moderately creepy and epic. I would say mostly more about the brutality, and I guess when it comes down to their themes being more Lovecraftian, like they definitely want more of a sinister vibe, less, pharaohs, more tentacled creatures.
They've got that. There's no denying that there are tentacled creatures creeping all over this album. Like in the beginning of the first track, All Has Read, sinister melodies, it absolutely explodes right out of the gate after those monsters. Blast beats, very hideous divinity. Yeah,
the pace of this runs a lot like a Hideous Divinity album or an Hour of Penance album, or even like a Sulphur Aeon album, except, maybe not as grandiose or theatric, which is, something I really like about that band in general. But, this is just hyper aggressive. Like, even when it slows down to like more groovy sections, generally the riffs are very tight, chuggy, like almost kind of along the lines of Decapitated at times. Like, it's just heightened aggression, and it's just kind of fucking moving. And in terms of like something that Decapitated does really well, that this band actually employs a bit too, and I was kind of surprised by, are some like more off-time rhythms, because a lot of this I was pretty much gearing myself for a blast beat fest, and I did get that for the most part. But the Resurrectionist and A Thousand Faced Moon, both of those have some really cool off-time drumming. Like, there's some really interesting syncopation between the guitars and the drums on there.
In the verse groove of Thousand Faced Moon, it's very, like, I almost said Meshuggah, too, which is still in the same vein as Decapitated,
yeah.
But that song notably has an off-time groove.
Yeah, it's got, like, the interesting swing to it. I mean, it parries between that and blast beats. And A Thousand Faced Moon was the first one that I heard, like, a little bit more blackened material. Like, you hear some more dissonant, cold riffs that are sort of buried underneath all the relentless chugging and blast beats on here. Because in terms of, like, room to really add a lot of, like, extra atmosphere, this thing is, like, really condensed, and it just kind of goes for the throat. This album only clocks, like, a little bit over 35 minutes.
35 and a half minutes.
Yeah.
So there's not a lot of room to really elongate anything. It's all tightly packed in each song.
You do get brief moments of atmosphere, like the opening of Eidolon in the Flames. Kind of starts off with chants and a fire and a woman screaming. Sounds like the Cthulhu Barbecue Invitational. I never got my invite, mostly because I can't fucking cook. But, I love Cthulhu. I figured that was enough.
To Eat of the Lotus does the same thing. Starts with kind of creepy synths and a very light melody on top of it. But that song is notably more different in terms of being a little epic. While there is melody throughout this, and it's mostly in tremolos, like To Eat of the Lotus has like a notable dissonant melody and kind of a tag on the end of the riff. And this is where they just start to branch out a little bit more.
Yeah, a lot of this is very go for the throat, like breakneck speed. The drums are pretty much flying, but this song slows it down and it starts employing some slower riffs, because a lot of this is just heavy picking, like all the time. But you actually get like some slower, more like Morbid Angel, slow, sludgy moments on there. And it kind of breaks up a little bit. Like this song being a little bit slower, like it still has like sections where it speeds up. It kind of opens up the whole sound and makes it sound a little bit more epic and sinister. Like this is like that kind of like, grandiose evil that you kind of expect from bands like, again, Sulphur Aeon. And on To Eat of the Lotus, I did notice like some more brutal death metal elements, or at least like older brutal death metal elements, like Suffocation. Like you have some more Mike Smith style blasts in there and some like just relentlessly heavy, chunky, palm muted chugs, especially during the like little breakdown. Even the vocals kind of lower down a bit. And vocally, I really like this album.
I do too. Good job. Again, reminds me a lot of like Hideous Divinity and a little bit of Nick Holmes from Bloodbath.
Yeah, I got actually a little bit of like Dallas's vocals from, actually this NILE album. They're very well pronounced. It's more of a roar than it is like a growl, and it's very intelligible. There's that right amount of reverb on it to make it sound a little bit more cavernous occasionally too. And overall, it's just very brutal, and it fits the music really well. But the thing that I really like about To Eat of the Lotus is this song has like a legit melodic hook to it. It repeats, and a lot of the stuff on this album is done blazing fast. And while I really like that, having like a nice distinct sinister melody, like it's not like a very like pleasant melody at all. Like to anyone else that doesn't listen to death metal, it'll be like, oh my god, this just sounds like fucking Satan noises. And I would say you're right, and it's awesome, so shut up.
And it does get super heavy too. I don't want to say that it's all just blast beats and all lightning fast riffs, although lightning fast riffs and blast beats are in every song, but the last two songs I thought particularly were extremely heavy. Lords of the Kali Yuga, again, and At the Eye of Chaos are just both notably a little bit more evil, brooding sounding, and definitely more chuggy, especially Lords of the Kali Yuga. That is super fucking heavy, and I'm just happy to see things like that appear too.
Yeah, the riff work is extra tight, extra brutal. I, once again, was reminded heavily of NILE just in terms of, like, the insane drum work. Like, the drum style is pretty damn close to George Goliath's, I think. It's a lofty comparison, but, I mean, pretty close in terms of the speed and the quick changeovers and all that. But I did like hearing the more, like, blackened melodies pop up again on the title track at the end before it just gets down to this flat-out evil chug-a-thon, which pretty much kind of closes out the album altogether. All right, yeah,
you can start. I mean, yeah. All right, I'll talk about it.
Okay, go for it. Well, here, I'm going to get a drink.
Okay.
I didn't say you get a drink. It's my drink.
Hey,
my
fuck
drink.
you, bud.
I ain't your bud guy.
I ain't your friend, guy. I ain't your friend, buddy. All right. Now, this record was not without a couple of, I guess we'll call them blemishes. I want to talk about production. Most notably, clicky kick drums. I think they were so powerful that they overpowered the rhythm guitars at some times. Like, it ended up drowning out a lot of, I think, what was going on. Although it does get tweaked a little bit towards the end of the record and it's not as bad, just really clicky kick drums just kind of get me. They irk me.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that one. I kind of get why, just because, I mean, they're so busy, and if you have, like, too big of a, like, reverby sound, it can create other problems.
Right.
But the overall sound, I just feel like it kind of lacks power, and it becomes, like, just sort of an annoying thing about it. That's just me. It's more of a personal preference thing. I did think that there were some other issues with the mix, like namely like the bass is almost invisible in it.
It's there, but it's not.
But I mean, the guitars have like a fair amount of reverb on them. I mean, that adds to the whole evil atmosphere, especially when they slow it down. So I feel like there's just levels of sound where things are gonna get lost on here. And also because of this album's condensed runtime, I think that there could have been, maybe more room for dynamics on here, because there are moments where you kind of just get lost in the just madness of all the blast beats. Like, again, a few more moments to break it up, like on To Eat of the Lotus, where it slows it down a little bit. You let the riffs breathe. Mm-hmm. Those epic moments really come out really strong. Like, they're really well written. I just like to hear, a few more of them. That and the atmospheric lead-ins occasionally sometimes don't match up. Like, I do like Eidolon and the Flames. The lead-in's kind of cool, but I think it cuts in too soon. Like, I feel like there was like a little bit after the scream. Like, I feel like it comes in halfway through the scream.
Yep. And then there's the ending of the songs. Most of these songs just end abruptly. Just bam, we're done. And sometimes it ends at a point where I think the song could have been given a little bit more room to breathe. But I mean, I guess that's not really a gripe. It's just a little thing I found strange.
Yeah, I think with maybe more time on this, like, I think the themes could get explored more, because you have this cool occult Lovecraftian theme, and that just invites a lot of cool atmosphere and a lot of strange dynamics. Like, again, we're listening to fucking Sulfuran again, like, holy shit, this band just knows how to make everything sound creepy, but brutal as hell, too. Just with the bands that I think this band could be compared to, like, namely Sulfuran and NILE, like, there's a lot of cool stuff that I think they can do on a follow-up, but as far as a debut goes, I think this is pretty damn solid. It's literally a combination of a lot of badass bands that I love, and, you know, musically it's done pretty fucking excellently, and in terms of, like, just flat out brutality, yeah, this band does not skimp at all. So overall, I'm going to give it 3.5 stars. I dig this debut. I think there's definitely room to improve, but as far as, like, a foundation, no, I'm a fan. I dug this. I think this is really well done. Again, like, there's some stuff that I think kind of repeats a little bit, and maybe some production issues on here, but overall, this is fucking just gnarly death metal and sublimely evil. So if you like, again, NILE, Sulfuran, Morbid Angel, a little bit of Suffocation, Hideous Divinity, a ton of heavy, fast bands, you're probably going to dig this, so I recommend you check it out.
Yeah, it's a 3.5 for me as well. First of all, these guys riff like nobody's business, and at a blinding speed. For a debut album, for this to be the first offering that you give to the people, this is a hell of a first offering to give, outside of the minor issues I have with, say, maybe production, or maybe with songs ending abruptly. I don't have gripes overall for any of it, because it's heavy as fuck. Super brutal, super speedy, super intricate riffs. It's techie, but it's not tech metal.
Yeah.
Like, it's really cool how they put it all together. Yeah, if you're fans of Hideous Divinity, Hoth, Bloodbath, Morbid Angel, NILE, Decapitated, Revocation, the list goes on, you're probably really, really going to dig these guys. I would definitely recommend checking these guys out.
So, if you enjoyed this review, give it a thumbs up, and if you're new to the channel, subscribe, because we do stuff like this all the time. We are also on Patreon. If Lake Doubles out there, there is a link down below to thrallsofmetal.com. Our Patreon link is there, and our store is there, which we will be loading up on stuff, and we will keep you posted as to when we do that. We're still kind of toying with ideas, but
I'm getting there. I have an email on my phone that says something cool, so
he's got an email.
I'd show you my phone, but it's dead, so it doesn't matter. But there is an email in there that states something really cool about merch, so
Woo.
That's pretty neat. Last but not least, we are having a giveaway right now for 15,000 subscribers, which is still nuts to say. Every time I say it, I can't believe I'm saying it. It seems a number unfathomable, especially for people that do what we do on YouTube. We're just talking and staring into a camera. But for some reason, you guys all fucking love that, and we love you for it. Thank you to each and every one of you who has subscribed and liked and commented. Anyway, we are giving away 10 CDs. Not 1, not 2, not 7, not 9, but 10 CDs to the lucky commenter. All you have to do is go down to the bottom of the video that is playing when you first enter our YouTube for the 15,000 subscriber giveaway and leave a comment. When we hit 15,000, because let's be honest here, we're not that far away. I think you said under 200?
Under 300.
Under 300. 300, 200, whatever. We're really close to 15,000 subscribers. So when we hit 15,000, we'll use a little comment randomizer thingy, and we will pull a name out of that and give away 10 CDs. Holy shit. 15,000 subscribers. Thank you so much. We appreciate each and every one of you. I'm going to shut the fuck up and let him thank you.
No, I'm just going to say it's been a wild ride, but it's been a really fun ride, and I look forward to throwing out even more content for you guys, because this has been fucking fun as hell, and you guys are largely responsible for it. So once again, thank you all, and we will catch you later.